Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by green forests and tall mountains, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. She was the daughter of a once prosperous merchant, who, unfortunately, passed away when Cinderella was still young. After his death, Cinderella's life took a turn for the worse, as she was forced to live with her cruel stepmother and 2 stepsisters. The family, once affluent and well-respected, had fallen into financial ruin, but the stepsisters, named Lucinda and Dahlia, were as cruel and vain as ever. Though her life had changed dramatically, Cinderella remained a beacon of kindness, compassion, and grace. Despite being relegated to menial tasks such as cleaning the house, fetching water from the well, and caring for the animals, Cinderella never lost her gentleness. She worked day in and day out with a smile on her face, hoping that someday her situation would improve. The harsh treatment she received from her stepmother and stepsisters, who mocked her appearance and belittled her dreams, never seemed to crush her spirit. She believed that good things would come to those who worked hard and remained kind. Her stepmother and stepsisters, on the other hand, wasted their days lounging, gossiping, and preparing for social events, obsessed with wealth, appearance, and status. When they weren't mocking Cinderella, they were making her life miserable. But despite their cruelty, Cinderella never retaliated, holding on to the hope that kindness would someday be rewarded. One day, an exciting announcement came from the palace. The prince, who had recently come of age, was hosting a grand ball. The purpose of the ball was for him to meet and choose a wife. The entire kingdom was invited to attend, and all the young women in the land were expected to present themselves. The news stirred excitement in the household. Lucinda and Dahlia immediately began choosing the finest gowns and accessories. They had little interest in dancing with the prince, but they longed for the fame and fortune that could come from marrying into royalty. When Cinderella heard the news, she too dreamed of attending the ball, even though she knew it was a far-off wish. Her rags were too old and torn, and she had no beautiful dress or jewels to wear. Yet, she couldn't help but imagine what it would be like to be among the courtiers, dancing under the chandeliers, and perhaps meeting someone who would see her for the woman she truly was. On the night of the ball, Cinderella mustered the courage to ask her stepmother for permission to go. She politely asked, "Stepmother, may I please attend the ball? I would love to dance, even if only for a moment." Her stepmother sneered at her, dismissing her request with a cold laugh. "Go to the ball?" she scoffed. "Why would the prince want to dance with a filthy servant like you? No, you will stay here and clean. Only if you finish all the chores before midnight can you go. But I doubt you'll manage to finish in time." Her stepsisters laughed cruelly, sharing in the mockery. They were busy getting ready for the ball, each one preening and admiring themselves, making sure every detail was perfect. Cinderella, heartbroken but determined, accepted the challenge. She knew the chores would take hours, but she resolved to do her best. As she worked, Cinderella's hands grew sore from scrubbing and cleaning. The chores seemed never-ending, and with every passing moment, it became clearer that she would never be able to finish in time to attend the ball. Her heart sank as the thought of missing the event crushed her spirit. She worked late into the night, wiping away tears as she continued with her task. Suddenly, as she bent down to clean a particularly stubborn stain on the floor, a soft glow filled the room. Startled, Cinderella looked up to see a gentle, kind-faced woman standing before her. The woman was dressed in a sparkling gown that seemed to shimmer with the very stars themselves, and her silver hair was crowned with a delicate tiara. "Do not be afraid, dear child," the woman said in a voice as soft as a whisper. "I am your fairy godmother, and I have come to help." Cinderella blinked in disbelief, still stunned by the magical appearance of this mysterious woman. The fairy godmother smiled kindly and explained, "I have seen your kind heart and the way you endure hardship with grace. You deserve more than a life of servitude. It is time for your dreams to come true." With a flick of her wand, the fairy godmother transformed Cinderella's ragged clothes into a magnificent gown made of gold and silver. The fabric sparkled as if kissed by moonlight. Then, Cinderella's worn shoes became delicate glass slippers, shimmering with brilliance. But the magic didn't stop there. The pumpkin in the garden was transformed into a grand carriage, with mice turned into horses and lizards into footmen. The coachman, a mouse, bowed to her with a respectful nod. "Now, Cinderella," the fairy godmother said with a knowing smile, "go to the ball and enjoy yourself. But remember, you must leave before the clock strikes midnight. When the clock chimes, everything will return to its original form." With a heart full of gratitude and excitement, Cinderella stepped into the carriage, and it whisked her away to the palace. The moment Cinderella entered the grand ballroom, all eyes turned to her. Her beauty was unmatched, her kindness evident in every step she took. The prince, who had grown weary of the superficial women around him, was captivated by her presence. As they danced together, a bond formed between them that felt as if it had been written in the stars. The night passed in a blur of laughter and music, and Cinderella felt as though she were in a dream. The prince, enchanted by her grace, had eyes only for her. But as the clock ticked closer to midnight, Cinderella's heart raced. She knew it was time to go. In a hurry, she fled from the ballroom, leaving behind a single glass slipper on the stairs. The prince, desperate to find the mysterious girl who had captured his heart, ordered his men to search the kingdom. He commanded them to find the woman, whose foot would fit the glass slipper. The search led them to Cinderella's house. When Lucinda and Dahlia tried the slipper, it did not fit. Then Cinderella, in her humble attire, was asked to try it on. The stepsisters laughed at the idea of Cinderella being the one, but as she slid her foot into the glass slipper, it fit perfectly. The prince, who had recognized her immediately, smiled with joy. "You are the one," he said. "I have been searching for you." Cinderella's life had changed forever. She married the prince in a grand ceremony, and they lived happily ever after. Her kindness, patience, and resilience had brought her to the life she had always dreamed of. As for her stepmother and stepsisters, they were humbled by the kindness Cinderella had shown them, and they begged for her forgiveness. Cinderella's story was a reminder that no matter how dark life may seem, kindness, hope, and resilience could light the way to a brighter future.